What's up, everybody? It's Andrew from the Jaguar podcast, and today I have a amazing guest. He has a Colts YouTube channel. It's called Culture Shock, and we're going to talk a little bit about the Week One matchup between the Jags and the Colts. Give it up for Culture Shock. What's up, man? How's it going?
Hey man, I'm good. It's good to be back, especially hanging out with my guy. Shout out to the Jaguar podcast. One of the nicest Jaguars fans I've ever met. I appreciate your company.
Hey, man, I appreciate that. I always try to, keep it cordial, and we're here to have fun. It's football, and it's good to have you back on, man. So, for our listeners that may not be as familiar with you, could you, tell me, tell our listeners rather how you became a Colts fan?
Well, it started off when I was a little bit younger. I wouldn't say I was a bandwagon fan because the Colts really haven't had a lot of success over the years. So they had their Super Bowl and and we moved on from there. But at the beginning, I started watching football. And the team that I first watched, I think it was maybe the Colts versus the former Commanders, well, the Commanders' former name. But I don't know, but they happened to be on TV, and I just happened to watch them. And then after that second, I was like, okay, I'm going to use this blue team on Madden. So, because I didn't know who the Colts were. So once I started using them on Madden and started getting familiar with them, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to stick with this team. So I started watching them more on TV, seeing about them, their stats, and Peyton Manning, starting to find out who they really are. And I was like, you know what? This team might be really good. So it's just my luck. They started to hit their stride in 2006, and the rest was history after that. So I just became a Colts fan since then.
Awesome, man. Yeah, lots of good history there. I have to admit, my wife is a huge Peyton Manning fan, so it's I got to hear about that. But I'm a Florida fan, so it's a little bit of a house divided. But got to respect Peyton Manning, amazing quarterback, and yeah, man. It's kind of an interesting season for the Colts. I mean, I think the whole Jonathan Taylor situation, a little banged up coming into this first game. What were your kind of thoughts from the off season?
This offseason was a roller coaster for sure. I would start from, the draft, I would say. The draft was one of the best drafts I've seen as a Colts fan. It's probably one of the most athletic ones as well. We got our quarterback and we move on and we're starting to think that, oh, this quarterback we're starting to pair with Jonathan Taylor is going to be great. And then the contract situation happened and we're like, it came out of left field. We didn't even know all of this was going to happen. So then we get to training camp. I go to training camp. We see Jonathan Taylor, the historic picture with his hoodie and his arms folded like he didn't want to be there. I'm like, this is insane. So now we have to go through this scenario with the contract, and then we're starting to figure out what we're gonna do at the run game without our star running back. But then you draft a guy like Evan Hall, you have Deion Jackson who's starting to step on the scene after he had a good preseason his rookie year, and he stepped up a little bit last year. Then you get Zach Moss from Buffalo. You're like, okay, we see the talent and the potential it can be. Then you have a mobile quarterback in Anthony Richardson. It's like, okay, well, since Jonathan Taylor doesn't want to get paid here, hopefully he gets paid elsewhere because we're all for let guys getting paid. So it's unfortunate that that situation came up hand with the Colts, but best of luck to Jonathan Taylor, whatever he does moving forward.
Yeah, he's amazing back. I think he's going to do well wherever he goes. It's unfortunate, to see that happen, but I mean, is Deion Jackson? Do you think he's going to get the start for Week One? I mean, because Zach Moss coming in, I think he had a fractured, it was either a broken arm or some sort of fracture on his arm, right?
Yeah, he has a broken arm. He was limited in practice the last 2 days, but he was available. So Deion Jackson is definitely running back one for Sunday.
Yeah, and Anthony Richardson, obviously coming from Florida, amazing, talent. I think he's got a great arm. He's mobile. What were some of your thoughts in the off season and training camp of Anthony Richardson?
Oh, it was a lot of wow factors. I think he's one of those guys where it's just like he can go out there and make an amazing play. Of course, he got to go through his progressions and develop on all three levels. But those RPOs and type of up tempo offense, well, when you run in a fast paced offense, it's his speed. If you have to slow him down and you have to sit in the pocket and actually wait, I think that's when you're going to actually start to figure out where he's uncomfortable with. He's always good on the run, staying mobile and running those RPO type designs because that's what keeps the defense guessing, and that's his strengths. So adding a guy like a coach Shane Steichen to this guy, to Anthony Richardson, adding him to that offense, I think it plays up to his speed and to his tempo. Like I said, but if you got to keep him in the pocket and he can't move around, of course he's gonna struggle with that, and he just has to develop that because he hasn't really played football at a quarterback position all his life. I think he only played like 13 snaps. So of course he still has to develop into his own, but he has the arm strength and talent to do so. So I think being mobile and being in the Shane Steichen offense, I think especially what we've seen in training camp and preseason, I think that's really what's going to wow us moving forward.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think, when I was watching him in Florida, he's got an amazing arm. I mean, he can just launch rockets down the field. So if you give him time, he's going to be able to get the ball down there. But I think what I'm worried about as a Jags fan is, like you just said, right? His ability with the RPO plays, also his legs. If you let him get outside of the pocket, he's going to be able to extend plays. So that's kind of a nightmare scenario for me as a Jags fan. We'll get into that a little bit more when we start talking about the keys to the game. But yeah, I mean, he's definitely a threat back there.
Oh yeah, super threat, man, super threat.
All right, so let's jump into this matchup here. Jags versus the Colts. We're playing in Indy. Historically, haven't played well in Indianapolis. But then, of course, you guys going into Duval County have not had the best of luck either. So I don't know. What are your thoughts on this game?
This game is definitely a toss-up because it can go either way, actually. I know the last time we've seen you guys in Jacksonville, Hurricane Dio got that strip fumble on Trevor Lawrence. That was one of those moments. I think that was last year or the year before. Yeah, definitely last year. And I was like, yes, we could beat the Jags here. So starting that off here at home is definitely a good look. But Duval County, like I said, I say it all the time. I don't know what it is, but you guys at home against a rival like us, you just always have the advantage. I know a lot of Colts fans, they're grimy and, they always blame the refs or, penalties and things of that nature. But I think it's just you guys play good at home and your fans back you up. I think that's all it is. You just got to go out and play football. You're going to deal with adversity no matter where you're at. But when you're playing a rival that knows you very well, it's going to be tough. And you guys known us for a long time, and you guys smack us every time you go to Jacksonville. So I don't know what it is, but I think it's just you guys got the upper hand there. It's home field advantage for sure.
Yeah, and I would say that the complete opposite for us going into Indy, right? Like we haven't done historically well there. I don't know if it's the field, the turf, or what, the AstroTurf, but didn't do well in our, what was it, the second game of last year where you guys, torched us with that, what was it, Alec Pierce touchdown catch there.
Griffin,
yeah, on Shaq Griffin, burnt toast, as I like to say. But that was a kind of a wild game. I think the momentum changed throughout that game. There were a lot of shifts, but you guys came away with it, which was, kudos to you. But I think this game is going to be a really good one. I think it could potentially be a high-scoring game. I'm going to go. I'm a little conservative in my score estimates. We'll get to that soon, but I think it's could be a battle of the defenses if the offenses don't get anything together. But let's go into some of the keys to the game here. I'm going to start off with Jacksonville, and then I'll switch over to you. We'll start offensively. I think in order for Jacksonville to win this game, they're going to have to be, going to Calvin Ridley in this game. I think you're going to see, number one, obviously, in my opinion, wide receiver. We acquired him, in the offseason with a gutsy trade there with Atlanta. Didn't know if he was going to come back, but it worked out. So kudos there to GM Trent Baalke for taking a chance. I think you're going to see a lot of targets to Calvin Ridley. But I think you're also going to see a lot of mixture between, RPO and and go into the pass, maybe if the run game kind of opens that up. So I think you're going to see a lot of Calvin Ridley. You're going to see a lot of ETN and Bigsby, getting carries there, but a mixture, because I think with this Jacksonville offense, which is kind of crazy, we didn't have this so much last year, but it's just like, I feel like as a defensive coordinator, it's like a nightmare. It's like, who do you cover, right? Like you have ETN, you have Lawrence who can run and throw the ball. Then you have Ingram, who's really good tight end. You have Calvin Ridley, and then Zay Jones and Christian Kirk. So I think you're going to see a mixture of things, but I definitely think you're going to see a lot of Calvin Ridley, and that's going to be interesting to watch. For you guys, for Indianapolis, what are the keys to the game for you guys?
Well, we gotta be successful on the run, no matter if it's Anthony Richardson, or if it's Evan Hall or Deion Jackson or Zach Moss that's limited. I think if we can have the run game, some type of stability there, I think that opens up the pass game, because we know how good Richardson can be on his feet if he's mobile, and if we can run the game successfully, I think the RPOs opens it up, and that gets our tight ends start to get more involved as well. So we got to keep you guys on the edge, because we know how good you are with the pass rush, especially against the Indianapolis Colts. Josh Allen in the first half of the season, especially last year, was wreaking havoc. So I know how he's going to charge this defense up and amp this defense up to try to contain Anthony Richardson. So I think we got to have some type of balance, and that starts off with the run game. We don't have Jonathan Taylor, so what's the best way to quiet the media than having a good run game at the beginning, especially against a team like the Jacksonville Jaguars? So I think the run game is definitely one of the keys that has to be very important for some type of stability for that offense, because last year it was the worst offense in NFL history, well, in the NFL. So, we got to start off at the beginning, which is running the football.
Yeah, I agree. I think you're going to see. I think you guys are going to run the ball a lot. Richardson being rookie quarterback, he's going to be learning the offense. He's going to be working on his progressions, and I agree with you. I think going into go into some of the defensive keys of the game here. I'm going to start with Jacksonville. Would be containing Anthony Richardson first of all. I mean, I think. He's not going to – I think, like I said, he's not going to know his reads as well. He may try to extend plays, get outside of the pocket, and if he does, that's going to be a disaster for Jacksonville. So we have to – the edge has to be, maintaining outside contain. Like you said, Josh Allen, Trayvon Walker, they have to get going. They have to be, making sure Richardson doesn't have any huge runs there. I think also the game is going to be won in the trenches, right? Like if – we're going to minimize your run game, we're going to have to clog up the holes, our interior with Foley Fatakazi and Adam Gotsis. And, they're going to have to do work inside and let our linebackers get free to make tackles. So I think, defensively, we're going to have to do that. Also, we're going to have to jam up wide receivers that you have, like Michael Pittman Jr. I mean, he's an amazing wide receiver and he's talented. So I'm looking for you guys to try to do some mismatches, create some mismatches in the secondary. I see a lot of targets on Darius Williams, that side, his side. Tyson Campbell's kind of our ace corner. So I wouldn't imagine you try to target his side a lot, but that's what I see happening. So if we can, lock up the run game, contain Anthony Richardson and lock down your wide receivers, I think we can run away with this game.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Anthony Richardson, he's definitely a gutsy quarterback who's going to sail it. He's going to throw that thing, man. We were just talking about his arm strength earlier, especially with a guy like a Michael Pittman Jr., who he haven't had in his whole career. I think he's going to really throw the ball down the field a few times. And he's a rookie, so he got to get those things out of the system. And what better way to do that in week one? So I'm pretty sure the film is going to show, the mismatches. He's going to try it. He's going to try Alec Pierce. He's going to try Michael Pittman Jr. So I definitely agree with you on that side. When it comes to, setting the tone, it's definitely got to start with our edge rush for the Colts. That's another key. The Colts did get rid of Yannick Ngakoue this offseason. and he was the highest pass rusher for the Colts with pass rusher rates. So he was getting to the quarterback. It wasn't sacks, but it was definitely putting a blockage or a distraction. The high pressure rates was there. So getting rid of him is just a sign for Kwity Paye to step up. Kwity Paye, top pick in the draft, had some ups and downs, had some injuries, and this could definitely be a season for him to step up. He's definitely going to be used a lot. Hopefully, he can stay healthy. But if we can get the edge rushers to, come off that edge streaming and put some pressure on Trevor Lawrence, I definitely think this could be a high score game like you predicted. And that's another key that, the Colts need to do this season in general is just attack the quarterback off them edges, man. Because the edges, we got Samson Ukubam this offseason as well. We got Hurricane Dio coming back. Grover Stewart's here. Tyquan Lewis is coming back as well. So the names are there. We just gotta make some noise.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. Kwity Paye, obviously, he's got to have a good game. Definitely talented. He's going to be going up against a rookie right tackle, Anton Harrison. So he might have a field day if Anton Harrison doesn't show up. Then you have kind of a third-year guy there, Walker Little on the other side, on the left side. So, he's going to – you all could definitely get something going. I mean, kind of Walker Little's more of a rotational player. Cam Robinson being kind of the guy over there on the left side. He gets suspended. He's out for 4 games. So Walker Little's going to have to stand up. But if they don't show up and pass block, you guys could have a field day, on the edge rush. So something to look out for. Let's go into key matchups from there. I think that's a good transition. I'm going to start off, offensively, or I'm going to just, kind of give my 2 cents on some of the key matchups. I'll start offensively for Jacksonville. I'm thinking Calvin Ridley versus, what was it, Deion Flowers, your corner over there.
Dallas Flowers.
Or Dallas Flowers, excuse me. Sorry. Just getting Deion. Yeah, just getting the names mixed up there. I think that'll be one to look out for. I think Calvin Ridley, if he wins those matchups, you're going to be seeing a lot of him around the field getting targets. But yeah, that was one of the key offensive matchups that I saw in this game. And I'll stop there and I'll go over to you and let you talk about some of the key matchups offensively.
Yeah, for sure. A key matchup would be tight end Kyler Granson. Whoever shadows the tight end for you guys, I think Granson's going to have a breakout year this year. He's had a very good offseason, a good training camp as well, and he has some signs of flashes in the preseason. If you've seen a few plays, he made some amazing grabs, and Richardson put that thing out there. So I think he's on the merge of having a good season. Of course, we won't have Jelani Woods. If we had Jelani Woods, the tight end, I would have mentioned him. But I think Colin Granson is a receiving tight end, so I think he's pretty much our Evan Ingram, if you wanted to use that as a comparison. So I think a tight end room for the Colts, especially Granson, if he can have a great game, I think that's definitely a key matchup. But looking forward to seeing whoever's going to cover him.
Okay. And how do you feel about your other tight end, Mo Ali Cox? Like, do you think he'll get some targets this game, or?
Yeah. Mo Ali Cox is going to have to step up this game. It's definitely on the brink because this is an evaluation season for the Colts. I think we're trying to figure out the direction they want to go this next year. A lot of contracts are coming up, and Mo Ali Cox is definitely one of them for the future. Because a lot of Colts fans this offseason was talking about getting rid of him because he had a very bad year last year, and the year before that he had a lot of drops. So Colts fans are on the edge with him. But I definitely think this game he should get a lot of snaps because he's the veteran tight end. He's tight end 1. So we should definitely see him a lot of availability for him going into this Jaguars game. Hopefully he can go out there and make a play. Definitely he's going to be available. It's going to have a lot of snaps. So him and Grant is definitely going to be the 1-2 punch.
All right. Well, that'll be one to look out for. Let's go into defense here. I'm thinking my one key matchup here would be with the secondary, Jacksonville secondary. So I'm going Tyson Campbell versus Michael Pittman Jr. I think that's a one to look out for. 2, I think you have ace wide receiver for Indy versus probably the ace corner for Jacksonville. I think that'll be one to look out for. It'll be a battle. They're going to be fighting jammed up. I'm sure Tyson Campbell's physical, so is Michael Pittman Jr. But that'll be one to look out for, an essential. I think if Jacksonville can shut him down, that may be one of the ways we run away with the game. What are your thoughts on that and offensive matchups as well?
Oh yeah, that's gonna be one for sure. Because I mentioned Richardson's he's gonna find Pittman Jr. I think Michael Pittman Jr. knows how important this season is for him. This is his contract year as well, so he's gonna have to go out there and make some noise if he wants to get paid. So I feel like I have this rare feeling that when his contract evaluations for a lot of players in the NFL, they just happen to emerge and have a really good season. And I hope Michael Pittman Jr. is one of those guys. And ultimate test is week 1 against a rival, so that's definitely going to be a matchup to look forward to seeing. And I think Michael Pittman Jr. might get the advantage there just due to height differential and his catch radius. It's definitely something to look forward to, but it's going to be an interesting matchup. There's going to be a lot of back and forth for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, and then for you, offensive matchups. I mean, maybe we already covered it there, Pittman versus Campbell, or I don't know if you had another one in mind.
For sure, Kenny Moore, slot corner. Pretty sure, is it Christian Kirk for you guys in the slot, or?
Yeah.
That's what I thought. So Christian Kirk against Kenny Moore. I know last year it was pretty flat out embarrassing with that matchup because Kirk he showed his money worth. You guys got him in the offseason, and everybody was off the edge of what the contract deals looked like. And the whole season, Kirk was just torching the league, not even just the Colts, the whole league. So I'm pretty sure Kenny Moore's had a good offseason. I will say this. He had a good offseason, a good training camp, and he stepped up. So I think this is going to be the reemergence of Kenny Moore. I think it's going to be a lot of back and forth as well for this matchup. So I'm going to go my guy Kenny Moore for this advantage as well, just because I'm a Colts fan. I'm going to be biased. But, I'm hoping to see a good season from Kenny Moore. Hopefully he can step up to the plate. But that's definitely going to be a good matchup because Kirk is a dog, man. He's definitely a dog. And I will be the first to say when you guys got him, I laughed. I was like, yes, this is a waste of money. But he definitely showed me that, no, I'm worth it. So shout out to Christian Kirk, man.
I will admit I was cautiously optimistic as well, but he earned every penny of that contract, I think, last year and proved everybody wrong. So, I think that'll be another battle to watch out for. I think that's a great call out. So I think, wrapping up, let's go into score predictions. Mine, little conservative. And I know that I said that the game could get away offensively as certain things happen, but I stated this in my game preview episode. I think it's going to be 24-7 Jaguars. I think the Jaguars may start off a little rusty just with, Lawrence and the starters not getting as much reps or as many reps rather in the preseason, which, is logical, I guess. If you want to make sure they're not getting hurt and all of that. But I think, he'll go out, have a couple of series that are bad, and then he'll kind of get into a rhythm. He'll start running the ball. But I think 24-7 will be my score prediction. Jaguars come away with the win. What's your score prediction?
I like that. I definitely spotted you guys 14 points in the other shows. So I'm going to go Colts 24-14. I think we're going to settle for a field goal in the opening drive. Let's just start kicking the wheels in the second half, and then I guess we just get fair luck advantage from home field. Hopefully the refs can, do us something nice and get us a few penalties and, just set off the tempo for the Jaguars and we get the advantage. But I'm going to go 24-14 Colts. A good debut. The curse is broken. All hail the mobile quarterback and Anthony Richardson.
That's awesome, man. I think that's a very cool prediction there. It'll be exciting, man, regardless, of the rivalry or whatever. Always a blast having you on. And for those, as I said, who aren't as familiar with your channel, can you tell everybody where they can find you, social media, podcast, etc.?
Yes, you can find me on Instagram. That is a very formidable social media app that I'm always on. It's Cultureshock on Instagram. TikTok, I'm definitely on there every day as well. And then you can find me on YouTube as Cultureshock. TikTok is Cultureshock. But I'm definitely there on all platforms. If not, you'll find me on YouTube as well, or Apple, Spotify, under the Blue Stable account. That is the secondary account for me. I do 2 channels, so I'm definitely always active. So you can catch me on either or.
Yeah, he's a hard worker. He does great content. I mean, I love your TikTok stuff, man. It is always it's always funny. It's always entertaining, and it's good stuff. So appreciate you coming on the show again, man. This is always a blast. We'll have to do it again, maybe for the second game as well.
Oh, absolutely, Andrew. You know where to find me. Definitely. Oh, I wanted to mention, I didn't start using cap cuts and things of that nature until I found you. So you're definitely an inspiration behind some of the TikToks I make.
All right. Well, I appreciate that, man. Well, hey, Sunday, we'll see how it goes. Best of luck to you. It'll be fun, and we'll have to talk about it afterwards.
All righty. We'll see you, man. Let's go Colts.
All right. Go Jags.